devils who do not seek the abstract truth when criticizing Prophet Muhammad, but instead follow their ego and arrogance, do not act with fairness or honesty. They ignore context, twist facts, and use misleading arguments to create doubt and confusion rather than sincere understanding. Some rely on unauthentic hadith, claiming, for example, that the Prophet forced his adopted son, Zayd ibn Haritha, to divorce his wife, Zainab bint Jahsh, so that the Prophet could marry her after seeing her. Even the clear truth from authentic hadith shows the opposite. Zayd himself came to the Prophet, expressing his desire to divorce, and the Prophet told him, "Keep your wife and fear God." Only after the divorce was completed and her waiting period had ended, did God command the Prophet to marry her. The purpose was not personal desire, but to abolish the false belief that an adopted son is equal to a biological son in lineage and marriage laws. Others quote authentic hadith, but ignore the full context. For example, they accuse the Prophet of marrying Safiya bint Huyai immediately after her father and husband were killed in battle, presenting the story as if it were an act of revenge or personal desire. However, when the full context of the same authentic hadith is considered, the picture is completely different. Safiya's father and husband were among the leaders who betrayed and fought the Muslims in a battle. After they were killed and the conflict ended, the Prophet explained to Safiya the reasons that led to fighting her father and husband. Then he gave her a choice. She could return to her people and keep her religion or accept Islam and marry him. She chose Islam and marriage. Safiya told the Prophet about a dream in which she saw the moon fall into her lap. And when her deceased husband heard about her dream, he slapped her face and accused her of wishing to marry the Prophet. That is why she literally said, "O Messenger of Allah, I had already embraced Islam and believed in you before you invited me. You have given me the choice between disbelief in Islam, and Allah and His Messenger are more beloved to me than freedom or returning to my people." In Islamic sources, this marriage is not presented as an act of humiliation or revenge. Instead, Safiya's status was elevated, and she became honored as one of the mothers of the believers. Moreover, the marriage created a bond of kinship between the Prophet and her people, which could help reduce enmity and prepare them to accept the message of Islam that he brought. Others judge his private life as if he were not human, criticizing him for actions such as kissing his wives, as if this is a crime for a normal husband to express love to his spouse. Others judge him by modern standards, criticizing customs of the 7th century, such as his marriage to Aisha bint Abu Bakr at a young age, which was socially accepted worldwide at that time. Just as an example, according to the Talmud, Rebecca was 4 when she married Isaac, who was 40. According to Catholic Encyclopedia, Virgin Mary was 12 when she was engaged to Joseph, who was 90. And in 1396, the French Princess Isabella was married at the age of 6. Now imagine if Prophet Muhammad had done what some prophets in the Bible did. Imagine if he became drunk and cursed his son and all descendants of his line to be slaves. Exactly like Noah in the Bible, not in the Quran did. Imagine if he told his wife to act like his sister to protect himself and gain favor from a king. Exactly like Abraham in the Bible, not in the Quran did. Imagine if his daughters got him drunk and conceived children by him. Exactly like Lot in the Bible, not in the Quran did. Imagine if he had committed adultery with his daughter-in-law and she became pregnant from him, exactly like Judah in the Bible, not in the Quran did. Imagine if he deceived not only his father, but even God to gain the blessing of becoming a prophet, exactly like Jacob in the Bible, not in the Quran did. Imagine if he made people worship a golden calf instead of the one God, exactly like Aaron in the Bible, not in the Quran did. Imagine if he ordered his soldiers to kill all males, including boys, and execute all women who slept with men, keeping only virgin girls as captives, exactly like Moses in the Bible, not in the Quran did. Imagine if he ordered his soldiers to kill not only men, but also women, children, and even animals in battles, exactly like Samuel in the Bible, not in the Quran did. Imagine if he committed adultery with a married woman and arranged the death of her husband to continue with her, exactly like David in the Bible, not in the Quran did. Imagine if he turned to other gods and disbelieved in the one God before his death, exactly like Solomon in the Bible, not in the Quran did. Imagine if he insulted a woman who came seeking his help, saying that children's bread should be thrown to dogs, exactly like Jesus in the Bible, not in the Quran did. So, if Prophet Muhammad had literally done the actions of these biblical prophets, would people by Bible's own standards still accept him as a prophet chosen by God? Or would they question his prophethood over minor matters, revealing that they are actually hypocritical, guided by ego and arrogance rather than truth? In the end, even if the Quran were only correcting the strange stories about previous prophets found in the Bible, which it is not, that alone would be enough. The standards of prophets in Islam are extremely high. Prophets are the best among humanity. While they may commit minor human mistakes, they never commit the extreme wrongs described in the Bible, nor do they disbelieve or alter God's message. Do not let human devils or your own ego lead you astray. Follow only the truth.